Okay, no, it's working. All right, people are telling me it's working. All right, sorry guys, I'm not sure what's happened. For the third time, thank you for coming to takTalks. Obviously we have Sharon and April on today, and everyone's writing in the chat that they can see it. So this is good.
Have they seen anything up till now?
So no one's seen anything up until now except on Sharon's Insta Live, apparently.
Oh. Hi! Oh, you're Insta-living.
So, but they can only hear my voice. Can't really hear anybody else's voice.
Well, yeah, that's a bit weird.
All right, I'm on my phone and it says we're live now.
All right, we're good then. We're good.
I might just check how it looks.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Sorry, it's.
Why am I so full?
No, you're big now. For some reason.
Are you
sure?
sure?
I just fixed you.
Oh, you. There I am.
This is the first time I've ever done this, everyone, so I apologise for keeping you all in suspense. We've just been talking about us being in isolation from the end of last week. We have taken our 2-week break that we normally would have had at the end of this week, but they moved it forward a week to help them plan for if we do come back after the 2 weeks and how we're going to shoot. They're going to put in a lot of things in place to keep us going, because if the government doesn't shut us down, we have to keep shooting. And April's popped out into a big screen again, so I'll fix you again. I don't know why you keep doing this, April. Why do you have to be so difficult? You're a shapeshifter. But yeah, so we worked really hard last week. I calculated we shot between 40 to 50, or finished 40 to 50 episodes in the week. Our EP wrote 35 individual episodes of what will become, I guess, kind of a flashback series. If we can't keep shooting and we need to put something on air, so he very cleverly, the show put together a whole bunch of about each episode has about 2 to 3, 4 minutes of new content, and the rest of the episode we made up of flashbacks that I think people will really enjoy watching, because it's always fun to go back and look at those things.
Yeah.
But we are on break now, and April's popped into. Oh no, she's back again. You're such a shapeshifter. I don't know why you're doing that, but. I did test this, guys. I promise you I tested it, and I did not do this last night for like 3 hours. But yeah, so, and then these two are both stuck in Melbourne. Shaz would have probably wanted to go back home to Adelaide, but that's locked down, and April would have gone back to Sydney. But we're all here in Melbourne.
I think I'm going to go next week. I don't know, man. I'm scared that they'll change things and then I'll have to quarantine when I come back here. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we just don't know, and at this point, our individual states could go on their own and do their own thing, so we can't. They might lock themselves down without the federal government doing it, and we wouldn't want to get stuck elsewhere, I guess. I mean, that's the big danger.
Yeah.
But anyway, so how's everyone's family doing? I mean, I imagine it's hard being away from them. I know it's hard for me. My mum's been in lockdown for a while.
Well, yeah, so just going on like not being so, like I was saying before we went live. The borders are locked and closed, so the decision's been made for me in terms of going home to South Australia, where all of my family live, and that's hard because obviously in our breaks we work so hard in our schedules that when we do get our break we want to be with our family, so that's been really difficult. But I can imagine we're not in a dissimilar situation to most people around the country. Even if your family is like around the corner, a lot of people aren't seeing their family because obviously my parents are elderly, and we didn't want to risk exposing them to anything they shouldn't be exposed to. So my parents are just like, stay the F away from us. We don't want you guys coming here. And yeah, just like keeping in, like I've never been more active than I have been on FaceTime, house party, Zoom, all of those different things, chatting to people, which has been really nice. But yeah, it's just hard. Like the touch, like not having touch, like not being able to cuddle people other than your significant other has been difficult. And I think I said it to someone the other day, it's like I didn't realise how touchy-feely I was until this started like a couple of weeks ago, because it just had to be so
Can I suggest that, Shaz, just to stop your Insta Live, because I reckon, because you're breaking up quite a bit, so the internet might not be coping too well.
Okay. Okay, I'll take my thing off of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, that'll work. And how about you, April? Did you have any? You're a homebody, so you like sitting at home anyway. What have you been watching?
Yeah, I'm kind of loving it. Watching season 2 of Westworld, finally catching up on that. What else? Peaky Blinders. Been playing a lot of Super Mario World. And there's a gym in my building, so just going there, cooking. Just it's quite like I was saying. I don't know. I can't remember what we said on here and what was before we were live.
That's the gamble. That's the fun bit of it.
Yeah, for us, it's not like we have the kind of job where you just go in, you go home, and it's done. Like on top of all the like script work and line learning we have to do, social media is part of our job. We have to like stay fit, get enough sleep, make sure our hair's good, our nails good, and like all that like stupid personal grooming, imagey stuff is part of it all. Like it's just constant upkeep, and it's a whole like you kind of can't just switch off when you get home. You've got to do all this other stuff and like I said, all the social media and everything. And we always have like press things we have to do and emails and that businessy kind of side of things as well. So the fact that everyone is kind of having to stop and not at work is sort of making me slow down and stop a bit, because even on these breaks, there's always so much we have to do.
Yeah, to catch up on all the life admin that we missed out during the term because we're going so nuts.
Yeah.
Because we shoot for everyone at home too.
Yeah.
We're the second fastest show shot on the planet, behind Bold and the Beautiful, I believe. We shoot 6 episodes in 5 days, and those 6 episodes are actually 12 half episodes. So we're shooting across 12 episodes at any one point in time, which in Neighbours time is a long time.
But they're only able to shoot so fast because they don't have location like we do. They're all in studio. So like if we didn't have a location, we'd be faster.
Yeah, and I like how you keep shape-shifting all over the place, which is really good. But I've realised I can't, you'll resolve yourself. I don't know whether it's something in your interconnection, which means Skype keeps trying to join you or not. But I think if I touch you, then you go even more funny. But we'll keep talking because people can hear us, and that's as long as they can hear us, I think they can catch the gist of it.
Yeah.
So I think for us, I haven't really noticed it yet because I've been so busy trying to set this stuff up, and then I feel like I've got so many things to do around the house that
3.5 days. So
yeah, I know. I feel like I have to. I feel like I have so many things to do at home that my weeks are gonna go quite quickly, and I feel like I'm running out of time, if anything. But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Neighbours for a second. Endgame was last week. The 35th anniversary was massive. The viewer ratings were really, really high, which is really great for us. And me and Shaz, Dippy, and David weren't on the island. We weren't as involved. We got more this week of having to deal with the aftermath. But how was filming, April? How was the end game for you?
You just dropped out for a minute and you just came back as you were asking me a question, so I don't know what you were talking about.
How was it filming Endgame?
Did you say how was filming Endgame? Well, this is what I don't understand, because I've now watched it and I'm barely in it. But I was so stressed out. I've still got the sinus infection from it. I've finally started taking antibiotics, which I've never taken in my life. I had a cold, I had a sinus infection. I think Jody had a chest infection maybe. We were all just so exhausted because we were having to do kind of our normal schedule at the studio and then drive out back and forth to these faraway locations, and that stuff always takes a really long time. And then we were shooting until like 9-10 p.m. and then starting at 6 the next day, and it was just really, really, really full on. And they were trying to get it done in our last 2 weeks of the year, which was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just really full on. And I'm kind of like, I don't know how Rob Mills did it, because he said he was in 150 scenes time in a couple of weeks. I wasn't in that much, and I was like off
he was doing like 30-40 scenes a week or something at a minimum, so that's pretty crazy. But the audience response has been so strong. Everyone's loved what he did with the role, which is so great. And I'm hoping I'll probably have a chat with him later this week for everybody else to tune into, and we'll talk about it more there. But this week there's a bit happening. David kind of feels quite bad about the whole situation. Feels like he should have picked up on something. Although Takaya, the actor, thought that David was okay because he was in hospital and almost died through most of that. So he had a lot of other things going on. I feel like he's got an excuse.
Yeah, Cut David some slack,
yeah,
guys.
but David takes it very personally, and you guys will see that on screen. What about for Dippy, Shaz?
Yeah, so Dippy was, I would have loved to have gone to that bloody island. It looked like a shit ton of fun, and there was a lot of drama as well. And also, I really wanted to be, because Dippy and Gary is very close on the show, I really wanted to be around him a bit more before he had his untimely death. And that was crazy, because I remember, like, we can talk about what happened, can't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's aired, so if you missed it.
So I remember when, like, this whole idea of End Game came about, and as you might know from people's stories and stuff, we were going to call it Fire Island, but then bushfires happened in Australia, and it was just really not appropriate and not sensitive to what was happening. And they asked us, like, what we should call it or whatever. And the idea of
it's funny that it was called Fire Island, and they changed it because of the bushfires, and then we changed it to End Game, and now everyone's saying with coronavirus, they're like, this is End Game, and I'm like, oh god, we can't
win. 2020 has been a shit year. Let's just write it off. It's just like nothing. You can't. But when we were talking about it, and the idea was floating about this dystopian type version of Neighbours or whatever, it's just so exciting. And when I remember read the thing about how Gary died with a bloody bow and arrow, like that is epitome of soapy world. Like, you just couldn't. I remember telling, like, as it was coming out, guess how Gary died. Get it? And nobody could guess how that happened. Before he left, he did tell Dippy to look after the pigeons, so that probably should have been a sign. Very random thing to say. I suppose we were hanging out with the pigeons quite a bit. But yeah, no, I didn't get to do that. But what I did do in the 35th week, because we were filming that sort of stuff at the same time, was 2 weddings. So I was Jane's bridesmaid for her wedding to Des, which was beautiful. And then I was part of Sky and Lana's wedding, because Sky is related to us, and this is what people keep asking me all the time, like, how come you guys are so familiar? It's because the Timmonsons are related to the Rebeckys, so we were related through marriage. And I remember saying during that time, I was like, why are we so supportive of Lana, where she's literally just left Dylan, who is our actual cousin? But I suppose when families marry to each other, you're close to both partners. So yeah, we supported her the whole way through, and I loved working with Bridget, who played Lana. She was lovely as well. So we were kind of doing that, and obviously, and also Shane and Dippy were coming off of this whole like the biggest drama in their marriage so far with the Roxy thing, and secrets being kept from each other, whatever. So I actually thought we were going to be one of the weddings in that week. Like, I wanted to renew vows, and I know a lot of fans were saying that as well, but I'm not sure why we didn't do that. So yeah, I was a part of that. But now you will see me deal with the ramifications of Gary dying, and the fact that Shane has never ever been supportive of that relationship and how that affects me going forward. So that's kind of where Dippy's at.
Yeah, some interesting things, I think, that are going to be explored. So everyone who's watching, check it out. See it this week. I'm glad you didn't ask me, because I don't remember what I do this week. Well, it's also the thing that the UK has now gone to 2 nights a week, Mondays and Fridays, or 2 days a week.
This has really grinded my gears, to be honest. I think they just did that automatically with a lot of their shows, because they were worried we wouldn't be able to deliver or something. But, like, we're going fine right now. We're on schedule, and now it's going to be all out of whack because the show is written to air on specific days. Like, the dates on the phones we use on the show will be the correct date that you're watching it, and we'll talk about, like, Valentine's Day, when it's Valentine's Day, and all that sort of thing. And now it's going to be all out of whack, and it's really upsetting. Sorry.
And also, most of the fans that I agree with you, Ape. So, like, anybody who thinks that the show, had any part to do that, we didn't. It's the broadcasters. It's their decision to put that back, and hopefully they'll get us back to, because I agree, people that love our show follow the Neighbours account, Australian account, overseas, all of our personal accounts. And now people are just going to be so annoyed that we're giving away spoilers or whatever, when we're just kind of going with the natural course of the show, which is sad.
Yeah, and they're all, like, people are saying, just unfollow those accounts. And so it's like, I'm like, no, don't unfollow, just mute them.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. I kind of wish they hadn't done that. Like, just maybe wait. If we had gotten behind, then maybe do
They might
that.
have
But
thought Time and Away stopped filming for a little bit of time, so maybe they thought in line with that. But then in saying that, those guys have quite a few episodes ahead, so I'm really not sure why they did that. And it is sad, so I apologise to the UK viewers and the fans from overseas. It's out of our control.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's just sort of figuring things out as they go, so we can't really. Like, they're trying to do their best, I guess, and I think the UK Channel 5 might have thought that Channel 10 might have followed suit and done the same thing, but obviously they haven't, so now we're in this position. So I don't know, they might do some sort of weird catch-up thing at some point. Look, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but like you said, it's nothing that we can control. We just have to go with it and keep doing our job and turning up, and hopefully we'll be able to keep shooting sooner rather than later too. But we'll see.
Can people watch on like a VPN or something? I probably shouldn't be encouraging that, but I mean, the episodes are
Why
there.
is that something you do, April? Are you watching things that you shouldn't be?
No, I do not know how to do that. I don't know what VPN stands for. I just know it's a thing.
I still don't know.
Virtual proxy
something.
network, I think.
I don't know.
Visible panty line?
All right,
no, that's a guess. That's a guess. But it's probably close, at least. Someone will probably put it in the chat soon. And thanks everyone who's in the chat. I am trying to keep. We can.
Yeah. Do we have any questions from
Tiny,
the fans or anything?
Switch to this view. Well, the chat is supposed to come up as bigger text, but for some reason it stayed small. Anyway, there's a few technical glitches going on. But what have we got here? A lot of people saying they loved Millsy. People just mentioning people's names. The pigeon poo at the wake was wonderful, someone says. Shaz?
I just watched that. I didn't remember that happening. I didn't read that ahead of time, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, no, that was really fun.
What did they use? What did they use for the poop?
Because it was so... they use a mixture, so from the art department, they use a mixture of yogurt there as well, and something dark. I forgot what it was. So it had that, how poo has... I mean, this is probably too much information, but it's like a little bit white and a little bit discoloured, so we did that. And it's like, again, one of those things that when you do it, you have to do it right the first time because it's such a nightmare to clean it off. I think Sheila was wearing black that day. And actually, it was a good reprieve from, because we, in those steps, have been crying for ages. We'd be just bawling our eyes out because of Damo. It is Gary, because obviously we're acting, but a lot of the time when we're going through that stuff, it's real raw emotion because it's the actual person that's leaving the show, and we love Damo, and it was really, really sad to see him go. So that was proved to be really nice and light, and also I don't even know if I can talk about it yet, but there's more pigeon stuff coming. So and that's quite fun, and I, as you know, I love animals, so that was like the highlight of my days, was coming in and playing with the pigeons. And it's really smart. So just a quick behind the scenes for that one. Those birds are homing pigeons. So and we had to get it right that time too, because there was 2 batches of birds. If it went wrong, when we got to use the other one. But basically, when they were let off, they actually flew all the way to Mornington Peninsula, which is an hour and something. Yeah, they flew there. And then while we were doing this thing at the other, we got confirmation on the line from the handler of the pigeons' family saying, yep, the pigeons have arrived home. Can you believe that? They're so smart. So they took about 45 minutes to get there. And they went home. They actually went to their home.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
they're smart.
They're pretty impressive. Smart. They can find their way home from anywhere, which is kind of nuts, because they would have been driven there obviously, and then they just let go, and then they figure out, I've got to go over here now. It's like, what? How did you do that? All right, we got some questions coming through too. Some of the usual ones, but what's happened to Clancy? People are asking.
Clancy.
Oh, tell me about it.
Clancy, not always so good at his cues.
Sharon's broken up a little bit.
Oh, hang on. He's frozen. Hello?
Hey,
there
don't
you
talk
are.
about our dog like that. I can't say a bad job. Sorry? I think I cut someone off there. But basically, Clancy's real name's Rocky. April is right. He is like a naughty puppy, basically, and sometimes does the right thing, sometimes doesn't. But given that we work so quickly and so you kind of need a dog that does exactly what they're told all the time. So I feel like that played a part in his scenes being cut, but they'll never admit it. They'll never say. So they use the same audio track of the dog bark when he's in the background, but I'm always trying to talk about Clancy in the scenes. I'm always trying to talk about Jay in the scenes. When he's there, it's always a good day, isn't it, April?
I know, he's so beautiful.
He's a lovely dog.
But yeah, it's a little bit like, all right, in the scene, Clancy needs to run that way, and he'll just go that way.
And then he gets really overwhelmed by everyone, and then you just want to hug him, and then he gets told off for hugging him because you're like distracting him, and
it's probably
our thing.
We get him too excited.
You know who was really well trained? Bloody Timber, Matt Wilson's dog, came on as Regina. Yeah, she would do everything, and like she would look in the right direction on cue, and no one, obviously Maddie hasn't told her to do that, but she would do it. And it's like, how did that happen? But then bloody Mrs. Punt came and stole her. Bloody Punt.
If anyone's wondering, they haven't seen Timber in a while, she's okay. She got a back problem, so I think she couldn't stay with Matt because he's got a large other dog. So she's living with a friend of his, but she's good.
Yeah. Has anyone got any hidden talents? We've got a hidden talents question. People are sending lots of love, everyone.
Lots of love back during this time. Hidden talents. April is pretty good at rapping, I would say.
But I don't really hide that. I'm like, hey guys, watch me do some rapping.
I know.
Give us a spiel now.
That's true.
No, I can't just rap off the cuff.
Then you're not very good, are you?
My name's Rapping Ape. I'm here to say it's fun to rap in a Skype chat way.
That was excellent.
Good day.
I wasn't sure where that was going, but I'm so glad it ended up there. When you do emotional scenes, do you find it...
My hidden talent would be...
Sorry, Shaz.
Oh, sorry. Go.
I want to hear hidden talent. Go on.
Oh, yeah, hidden talent. Yeah.
No, I never do it, and I tell people I can't dance, but I am a Bollywood dancer, so like I can do that, but I won't. I'll never do it.
So I remember at your wedding, and you did your amazing dancing.
Oh, yeah. Actually, some people saw a little bit of it, and that was under high stress at my wedding. Far out. I remember Magda put it up on her Instagram, and I'll tell a quick behind the scenes about that whole thing. So basically, my hubby lost his marbles during that time because it was so stressful. There was too many people at our wedding, and it was like a number of different events and whatever. And on the day, he's like, I can't do the dance with you. And I was like, what do you mean? It's a duo. It's like a 2-person dance. You have to do it. And he's like, I just can't, Shaz. I'm like, oh, everyone's expecting it. What do we do? And everyone was expecting it. So then we just improvised, put him on a chair as if I was doing it to him, but it was supposed to be both of us. The problem with that and it was so exhausting that when you do 2 people, at least the focus goes on the other person, but it was just me throughout the whole thing. I was just going to
somebody else's question. They said, when you do emotional scenes, do you find it difficult to come back out of the mindset, or do you find it easy to switch off quickly?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think for the stuff with like Damo, that was genuinely emotional because, like you said, we were sad that he was leaving, and that's all part of it. So there was a real life element to that. So that can be a bit tricky. Generally, I don't find it too difficult, and the atmosphere at work is pretty like jokey. All the crew are like, cracking jokes all the time, so you kind of keep it pretty light. And again, we work so quickly that you're not sort of getting down in that mode for like 2 hours or, days on end as you normally would for a dark film. Where you have to go there. Like we're just kind of, you're probably doing it for about 20 minutes and that's it. So, yeah.
So, yeah,
what about you
I
guys?
would say similar to Apes in that when you just got to move on. You have no time at work, so you just got to move on to the next. I feel like it's easy to get emotional because I'm always so bloody tired and on the verge of tears. So that's easy. But like sometimes I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong or agree or disagree, Tak, as well. It's just like you think you've like got rid of all of that yucky energy, but sometimes you do take it home. So like you have a heavy day, smashing headaches by the end of it. You go home, you don't want to talk to anyone, and then you burst out in random tears at another time. So yeah, in terms of a technique, like just to get out of it, I don't really have one except like jump up and down and do a little bit of a dance. I don't think that.
Well, yeah, I think I agree with.
Do you have one?
I think I agree with both of you. But what I think happens, because you can have storylines that sometimes you are in for like a couple of weeks where it's quite heavy, and I don't think it's necessarily actually going into the scene and going into the emotion, and it's not an inability to snap out of that. I think it's just being at any heightened emotion is really draining. So you get very, very tired from that. And I think that's potentially what people take home more than anything else. It's just the fatigue. And when you've been crying a lot, or when you've been really angry, or because it's a physical reaction that happens within you. You know, the blood starts to rush, and your body releases adrenaline and all these sorts of things. So your body is then it's being punished, because then you switch out of it and it calms down, and then you go back into another scene that goes up again. And we kind of do that during the day anyway. So it's a really fatiguing thing that we do. But when it's emotional on top of that, then it's tenfold. So that's what I take home. Like, it's just being tired sometimes. Just someone's asking where Mia is. I could go get her. Do you guys talk about your audition process for Neighbours, and I'll go get Mia.
Okay. Right. And also, if Hubby's watching this, can you make me dinner? I'm hungry again.
What are you having?
Tonight, I think we're just going to have fish and vegetables. I've just eaten so much junk food. What's your junk food of choice, April? It's a more important question. Oh, April's frozen, or am I frozen? Are you there? Who's there and who's not there?
It's Mia.
You guys. Oh, there you are.
There we go. I froze, and I'm back, and there's a dog. Yay!
Look, it's Mia. So she actually had a bad day the other day. We went walking, and she went in some long grass, and then she got stung by a bee. So then she went all floppy, so we had to take her to the vet. But she got some shots, and then she was better. But she's still good now.
So they're open?
The vet was open. We had to go in, like, only one person could take her in, and then there was only one person in there at a time, so you had to wait outside and that kind of stuff. So they were being cautious. But obviously, if something happens to your pet, then the vet's sort of, they're an essential service in that sense. You don't want people running around trying to save their pets somehow. But she's all right.
Hasn't she watched Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World? Don't go into the long grass.
Yeah, Mia.
That's because of Velociraptor.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? See, this is what will get people watching. They'll come and watch just to see Mia.
A dog.
Yeah. No, but she's good now.
I did see some
we didn't talk about our audition process. We talked about Sharon and my thing froze.
And also, I wanted to know what everyone's favourite snacks were at this time of need.
Oh, snacks. Pistachio nuts are pretty enjoyable. I like pistachio nuts.
I might get it having to take the bloody
everything.
You're breaking up quite a bit there, Shaz, by the way.
Sorry, I was saying a lot of effort taking the shells off the pistachio nuts.
Yeah, they're hard work.
But that's a good thing, because then I don't eat too many, because there's the effort in it. Otherwise, I'll just smash them. April, you have about 400 snacks at work. I don't even know if you could have a favourite.
Really do. Well, yeah, I'm big. The boy and I are big on like trying new chips. Like every time we go out, we buy some like disgusting new flavour of chips and we eat one each, and then we go nah. And usually take them to work. And there's an area at work in our kitchen that I call the Bermuda Triangle, because if you put any food there, it's gone in like an hour, because it's a thoroughfare. People just walk past and take it. So we'll eat one chip and then we'll go Bermuda, and then I just take it to work. But now I can't take it to work, so I've got a fridge full of like open chip packets.
I did have someone just ask, did you ever find out who stole your popcorn?
No! Like everyone started getting cross at me for asking. And I was like, this is a real issue, guys. I need to get to the bottom of it. And I never did. I feel like it was
Probably
Matt
Maddie.
Wilson, but it was
Your brother will never.
But I was going to say my most recent do not eat snacks are those Lamington chips. I took them to work, and Sharon, I saw you did a video eating one.
I did eat it. I didn't like it.
Sorry, I put them there. And then the other one we bought the other day were garlic aioli Doritos.
Good or bad?
Bad. And there's a couple of flavors of burger chips floating around. They like too pickly, and I like pickles, but it's not great.
Not like a burger ring. I like burger rings. They can be good.
No. What a new favorite snack of mine is the Woolworths sweet and salty macadamias.
Ooh.
They're pretty good.
What's the Woolworths one? Okay, I'll get
sweet and salty macadamias. Get on it. And in the UK, everyone knows I love Biscoff, and there's a Biscoff sauce you can get now there, I've seen. So I haven't tried it, but I'm going to recommend everyone go buy that because I'm jealous I can't buy it.
Oh, there's people here who are in Australia who are watching Neighbours with the closed caption on and listening to us, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm on
didn't check
tonight's episode.
Maybe. Who's in the chat? Tell us if we're on tonight. You would have seen us by now if we were going to be in the episode, probably. Someone just asked if we've watched. If we've tried Smith's Poppables. Have you had Smith's Poppables? I don't even know what that is. Don't know.
Don't know.
April's just got a scrunched up face that's frozen.
It's a mystery.
She'll come back in a second, I'm sure. And now I've just got a question from Dang Ann.
Oh no! Okay.
Oh wait, she's back.
It froze in the middle of being sassy, and it froze.
It was a sassy face, you can see, so that was good.
Oh no!
Still beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Did you ask me a question that I did?
It was a specific snack question, whether you tried it, some pop-off or something.
Smith's Poppables.
Yeah, we like the yellow ones, not the red ones. I call them lacrosse sticks because they're like a little net, like that end of a lacrosse thing.
Yeah.
Like the little like puffy balls. Yeah, they're not my fave, but they're all right.
And someone just asked, any advice for young actors trying to make it out there? Really look up to you guys, which I really appreciate. And thank you for watching. My advice to any actor is just to do as much acting as possible. It's a weird thing that we do because a lot of actors, I reckon 90% of actors out there spend 0.0001% of their time doing anything to do with acting. It's a strange thing where we're in a really privileged position where we act all year round, 43 weeks-ish a year, which is a very rare thing to do. I mean, the biggest movie stars in the world aren't doing anything near the amount of content that we're doing. So we get to exercise the muscles quite a lot, and which is why Neighbours are seen as quite a training ground, because you can't help but get better when you're doing that much work.
Yeah.
So I think that no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing little short films or indie stuff or plays, community theatre, or just getting together with your other mates who want to act and doing some scenes, doing some monologues, doing whatever, get up and do it as much as you can. That's the advantage of going to 3-year schools as well, is because they're doing it 10, 12 hours a day, and that is going to make you good. So if you want to be good and you're too young to go to an acting school or whatever, just start doing it. Just do it as much as you can. Watch things as well, but doing it, there's not much else that makes up for doing it. That experience is vital. What do you guys think? April, what do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Like just there's heaps of like monologues, or if there's a scene you like from a movie or something, just learn it and put it on tape and try and get better, or get some friends around and do that, or take turns and then kind of nicely comment on each other's work maybe, and just, you're right, just put yourself on tape and see how it's looking and just get as much practice as you can.
I agree. I feel like if you're wanting to pursue acting, it's really for the love of it, no other reason, because nothing is guaranteed when you're an actor. So logistically, like I would say, have something else in mind to make money on the way if you want this to be a long-term thing. I went to uni, I did some degrees, I've got stuff to fall back on, or just be prepared to do other things along the way. I'm not saying you shouldn't put all your efforts into it, you definitely should, and that's probably the best way to make it happen, but just in case, don't feel like you're a failure or anything if you don't make it, because like Tak said, it's like 0.01 or whatever it is, percent of people actually are able to work on a show or on a film or something like that, and it's not a representation of your skills or your talent or your look or anything. It's just such a combination of like weird things that get you to that point. So it's definitely rewarding. But yeah, think of other things you can do as well.
Yeah, I think the thing you said about don't do it for money or fame and that kind of stuff is really true. And I think the people who are in it for that, even if they get lucky early on, they get whittled out pretty quickly, because as soon as you lose that first job, you realize that, hey, it's a slog. I mean, I started acting now 11 years ago. I had my first professional gig, and it's only been really in the last sort of 5 years that it really started to take off. There was other things going on in that period, but my first role was a regular role in a TV series, and then it was a couple of years before something else happened beyond that. I mean, I got close to a bunch of things, but if anything, it's good to get close to things, but it's also harder because you're in the top 2 or 3 and then you miss out by that tiny amount. I mean, that's really killer. And the one thing the public don't understand as well sometimes is that not every actor gets to go for every role. Very few actors get to go for any role, and that's all dependent on the casting director. It's dependent on your representation. It depends on what you've done before, what people might have seen you in. So there's a lot of control that you don't have. And a lot of the time the actors are sitting around waiting for an audition call to say that here's an audition you can do. And then the chances of that role being right for you is also slim. You might be vaguely in the right age group, in the right ethnicity, in the right type of character, but if it's that nowadays they can cast so wide, they can look at so many different actors for the one role, they're going to find someone who's really close to that person. Most of the time, they're not looking for someone who can act really well. They're looking for someone who just walks into the room and is the person. And they'll find it because they can just audition such a huge volume of people. All right. Next question. What have we got here? People have said some really nice things. Someone said here, Shaz, I'm Indian too, and it makes me so happy to see you on TV, which is really nice.
That's like the biggest positive, I think, from me being on screen is that representation, because I never saw that representation when I was growing up. So it hasn't come without, like, it's been difficult to get to this point, and I've spoken about it before, but I'm so glad that you say that. I'm glad. Hopefully I do the culture justice.
Yeah, I think, Neighbours has been such a leader in diversity for such a long time, even before it was, cool, which is a real tribute to the producing team, who have pushed very hard to get these characters on screen and prove that, hey, you can have someone who isn't Caucasian and have an Australian accent and have been brought up in Australia and be telling Australian stories, but just with a face that isn't normally the one getting to tell that story. And there's so many people out there who appreciate that because like I myself, I was brought up in Australia and I've spent maybe 4 or 5 weeks in Japan. So my culture is Australian. So to see faces that look like me on screen, it didn't happen often when I was young, but to see them now, it's like it makes you feel part of the culture rather than on the outside. So it does a lot of work, positive work in that way.
Yeah, LGBTQIA storylines, characters, transgender. Now with Georgie on there, it's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. What do we got? People asking how it was filming the Mardi Gras episode. That was a bit weird because.
Well, firstly, we shot that a year ago. It was last March, and then we had to wait to air it this Mardi Gras. Well, the bits of you and Matt, the bits in the waterhole and all that, we shot more recently.
So it was quite disjointed, and the stuff on the float wasn't really strictly meant to be part of the show, but then kind of became part of the show. So we didn't set up anything where like me and Matt just knew we had to stand together, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was just
and
mayhem.
try not be too near the rest of the cast because we sort of weren't meant to be there on screen. But heaps of us were there. Sharon and I were on the float. But it was only you two who were at Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
but you guys attend that day, right? The day of the parade while we were all busy getting glitzy.
We filmed that day and the day before, I think, from memory. So like we filmed a crazy amount, and there was heaps of it that didn't go to air too because they changed some storyline stuff. And there's one particular scene which I've been chasing the producers to give me because I really want people to see it because it was a really nice scene for David that just revealed a little bit about his backstory. That I'm hoping. Well, now it's chaos, so maybe in like a year's time, you guys will get to see that scene.
Yeah. Because what they were having you guys shoot and the little storyline bits around it was what they thought they were going to be shooting in a year. Yeah. And then the little things change and new characters have come in that they didn't expect. And so, it would have all had to change.
Someone just asked if we had a party to celebrate the 35th anniversary. We had one planned.
We were meant to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, due to current circumstances, it wasn't possible. See, I shouldn't have got me, and now she's wanting to go back out again. And last time I went out, you guys started freezing and stuff, so I'm sure people weren't too entertained by that. But me, it'll be all right. Has there been anything that you guys have? Because I've had a couple of things that happened while I've been on the show, which I didn't expect to learn. Maybe Shaz, you go first. Has there been anything that you've been surprised by that you've learned from?
As in, like, stuff that I didn't know about the character or the family or that I'm learning?
No, even things about acting or about working in this kind of environment maybe. Or, and like what your expectations were of when you got the role on Neighbours and what the reality felt like.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You froze and I didn't. Got the end of the question again, so I didn't know if you were talking to me or not. Sorry. What was it?
Well, Shaz, answer first, and you might be able to just tag on.
Well, basically, of getting this job on the show, did the expectations meet reality of what it was really like? I just really didn't know what it was going to be like. Like, I knew it was going to be exciting. I knew it was going to be fast, and I knew it was going to be like working with it because everybody told me that beforehand. It was a steep learning curve. I remember when I first started, if I recall back, I literally stuff like learning lines took me longer because I wasn't used to it and I didn't know the character well, so I didn't really know exactly what she would say. Now it's very easy to know what something Dippy would say. And I remember coming home from work and literally napping for 2 hours and then waking up and then doing everything because I was just so exhausted. In terms of I thought there would be more probably. I thought that I'd be involved in more, I suppose, more storylines and things like that. But then just the way things work out, because we've got such a big cast, other storylines kind of take precedence and stuff like that. So I suppose that's a bit different to what I thought it was going to be. What about you, Ace?
I kind of didn't know what to expect. I remember because I knew you before I started on the show, Tak, you talked me through it and I had heaps of really annoying questions. I just really wanted to know what the day-to-day was like trying to figure out what to expect. And Matt as well, who I met, who plays Aaron, who I met in my callback audition, he was really sweet and called me and talked about it all. But there's almost no way to be prepared for the way Neighbours shoots and how quickly, and we'll have guest actors come in who are very experienced and very good actors, and they will be extremely overwhelmed, and you can see them getting nervous and getting overwhelmed by the workload, and because it's just unlike anything else. I guess I didn't really know what to expect, and it is very full on. But at the end of the day, everyone kind of pulls together and tries to help everyone else out. And then we end up making the awesome show that half of you are watching right now.
or nearly finished. For me, I think there was a couple of things from an actor's perspective that I thought I didn't expect to learn, I guess, which was like, because we work with so many directors, each week we're working with 2 different directors and some repeat and whatever, but just figuring out what sort of director I really gel with, how to talk to different kinds of directors, because everyone speaks a sort of different language on set. And a director never knows that they speak a different language to another director, really, because they're never working with another director, because there's only ever one of them on set. And so figuring out ways to talk to them and communicate or understand what they're trying to actually say, it can take some time with certain people, and there's other directors will step on and you're just like, this makes total sense. They say one word and you're like, I got it, I know what you want. Because as you said, like, we shoot so fast that you need to have that good communication, because if it doesn't work, then you keep trying to do what you think that they're asking you to do, and they keep asking you to do it, but they're actually meaning something entirely different, and that can really screw you around a bit. But other things, I mean, just the workload and how fatiguing that is. And what's really great is getting used to working with so much content and feeling comfortable about lines and that kind of stuff, and not having to stress at all. I think that really helps a lot, and hopefully it continues on after. But stepping onto a different set's always a different beast. The same sort of nerves, those first day nerves, no matter how much you shot. Because we're so insecure as actors, I think, that we're always thinking like, hopefully people think I know what I'm doing. Even though that we know what we're doing, sometimes it's hard to tell ourselves that. Well, I think we've talked for a while now, and there's been a reasonable amount of glitches that I've been trying to solve on the fly. But do you guys have anything else you want to add?
No, keep watching this. I don't know about you, but I was going to say, from my perspective, thank you so much for your support. Hopefully we bring you a bit of light and goodness during this time. I'm not sure, like, whether our show, because this is a question a lot of people have asked, whether we're going to address Corona at the moment, because there are 2 ways of thinking. One is that we want to keep it light and goodness, something to kind of brighten up your day when you are at home, socially distancing and isolating yourself and whatnot. But thank you so much for supporting us, especially during this time. It means a lot to us. And keep safe, and sending you a lot of love. Like, I'm not really that social media active, but I'm going to try to be a bit more, so that I can connect with you guys, as well as also for myself, because I'm not getting that connection as I normally would. But yeah, just to keep things in the theme of love and kindness.
Yeah, well said.
Anything to add, April?
No, Sharon said it all. You beautiful girl. We love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and lots of love.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Sorry for the technical issues. I've been working really hard over the weekend to figure them all out, and obviously I didn't get all of them. But hopefully it keeps improving. I'll try and figure out some ways to stop people's videos from changing sizes. I don't know why that could possibly be happening. Maybe someone out there can explain it. But thank you for joining us. I will announce now who is joining us tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to Alan Fletcher, Dr. Carl himself. I'll post this on Instagram too. But I think we'll start at 5:30 tomorrow, so that we have plenty of time before Neighbours starts, and we don't lose the people who should be watching Neighbours, or they don't have to be watching in closed caption like someone said in the chat. But thank you again for joining us. I really appreciate it. I hope you'll keep watching. Hit the subscribe button with the alert thingy, so that you get notified when I go live next. But it'll be 5:30 tomorrow. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the technical issues. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Now I've got to stop it. Bye!